The group, another episode where we today, good morning. I don't know if we were live. Were we live?
We're live now.
Oh, we're live now.
It's the beauty of this, right?
No phone ringing today. Anyways, welcome to the Grimaldo Group, another episode where we like talking about real estate. Today, we're going to be talking about, are you ready for the recession? Recession is a big word nowadays, is it not?
Yeah.
And I want to kind of pick your brain, Juan, because you're more seasoned and experienced than I am with regard to real estate. What do you think about when you hear the word recession? Are we in a recession? Are we headed to a recession? I mean, there's all kinds of talks about it out there today.
Well, good morning, everyone. Good afternoon, wherever you're at. So a recession, it's been used quite a bit in the last few months. I say in the last few years, everybody's just been waiting for that bad things to happen, right? I feel like our economy is doing great. Recession means that we have negative GDP growth, which is not happening. We're still growing. Yes, there is inflation, which means the cost of goods you're gonna pay more, right? So your dollar is gonna be depreciated, and that's thanks to our government. They printed a bunch of money, and that's what happens. I mean, it loses its value. Yeah. So most people confuse recession with especially in our world, they feel like the market's going to crash, that the price of the homes are going to drop. So I think that's the concern. People are wondering about that.
Well, I mean, if and when there is inflation, and this is historical, the inflation 8.5 or wherever we're at right now, is that going to produce potentially a price reduction in homes? Well, yes. I've seen some homes in this area where we're at where some have dropped 7,000, maybe 13,000. But you also have to take into account that within maybe 12 months, if that house was $100,000, if not more, less than today's price.
Yep.
So when you are able to successfully get your offer accepted, because there's not that much competition, because people are focused on the interest rates and the news, well, now a buyer can come and say, oh, there's a $7,000 price decrease,
Yep.
and successfully get the home at today's interest rate. The seller's happy, the buyer's happy, because they didn't have to fight it out with maybe 20 other people.
So one of the things that I would ask people, like when they see this, they're like, I'm waiting, the market's going to be in my favor. Well, you've been waiting for the last 12 months, like Angel said, and the price is appreciated about $100,000 more. Now, what happens? Well, what's happening is just an adjustment on the prices. We're not going to get those price increases as fast as we were. Why? Because the rates are double. The prices of the homes from the last 2-3 years are double. So what happens is you have an affordability problem. And what happens in this case, and what we see is there's a squeeze, right? The people that are in the $400,000 to $550,000, $600,000 range, now they can afford $300,000 to $400,000, which there's very few homes in that market or in that, in those price points. So that makes the inventory for those people very tight. And again, it's pricing out a lot of people out of the market.
Yeah.
And again, do we expect this to continue? We don't know. But what we see is huge companies moving here, bringing more people. We have a huge shortage of rentals. We own several rentals, and it breaks my heart because people want to rent the house. I mean, they beg you. Sometimes they want to pay you for a full year.
Yeah.
Because they want to get into a place, and that's not helping, right?
Well, going back to the market here locally, VA. In the past, when the market was a frenzy and people were willing and able, those that could, offer $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 above asking price. Mm-hmm. At least that's what was happening here. Yep. I know San Diego.
Even crazier.
Places. Yeah, I've seen 100,000. So a veteran, where they're using 100% financing, mm-hmm. with very little out of pocket. Okay, they couldn't compete.
Yeah.
But now you're able to go out there and at least have a better chance at potentially getting a house with 100% financing.
Exactly. So this is opening up the opportunities for many more people. Let's say a first-time home buyer, an FHA buyer that is getting their first home. They need to put a substantial amount down that they don't have, right? They may have the closing costs and the down payment. Well, guess what, guys? This is, and it makes And it makes me kind of wonder, because when there's a window of opportunity for those that couldn't purchase before, now they're like, okay, I'm going to wait. They've been waiting. Dude, you already waited $200,000 to pay more. Do you want to keep waiting for more?
Yeah.
I think this is the right time to get in. Go ahead.
Well, I mean, you took me to a couple that I can't forget because it's heartbreaking. 2 years ago, I showed them a beautiful house, $399,000. And I'm talking about a very nice house,
Right.
open concept, beautiful pool. I think it was almost like 2,800 square foot house.
Right.
Very nice community. Well, that house is no less than $600,000 now. The reason they didn't buy was because of the market. They wanted to wait for the market to cool off. Okay, those were the words. And so they decided to go rent. That was 2 years ago. Now, if they multiply 24 months, if not more, of rent that they've given to their landlord's mortgage, okay, that could have been working in their favor. All right. Now, they could have also potentially had $200,000 worth of equity because of the way the market became. Well, we don't have any control of that. But let's just say, for example, that the market is going to do 3% to 5%, as it usually in the past has been 3 to 5%.
That's average, 3%.
That's average, right? It's still working in your favor because every mortgage payment that you make is going to be bringing down that note. The first several years is going to be towards the interest and very little to the principal. But there is an effect where in the long run, that note is going to be going down, while the value of the house
continues to
up
rise
and up, and your mortgage stays at an idle mode. Okay, it stays the same, and your income through the years will increase because most people earn more money than they did 10 years ago.
Yeah,
15 years ago.
And let me go back to that case you were mentioning earlier. I was going to write it down on the board. But so they bought that property was $399.
Mm-hmm.
It's $600,000 now, right?
Yeah.
So $399. It's been 2 years. So that house is $200,000 more. So they missed out because they didn't lose. They didn't buy the house, so they didn't lose. But they missed out on $200,000. Plus, I bet you the rent's not cheaper than $2,000, right? So that's 12 months times 2. That's 24. So $48,000.
Yep.
So in essence, they missed out on $248,000, and they have nothing to show for it. Not only that, the rates have doubled. So that payment that was going to be super comfortable, maybe at $1,500 a month or $1,800 a month, is going to be like $3,000 now. So are they in a better position?
I beg to I say no. I mean, but I don't want to live like the book that I was reading today, the rear view mirror effect, where now I want people to just focus on what they didn't do. But now you're here today, and you can prepare for a better future.
And that's why these conversations are important, Angel, because I mention this quite often. When is the best time to plant a tree? 20 years ago. When is the next best time? Now. So don't wait, because the more you wait, the more it's going to be, the more painful it's going to be. And I want to show you guys a little graph, because not every recession means that the prices of the homes are going to drop. And let me just give you a little explanation as to what inflation is. Again, the cost of goods goes up, your dollar is worth less, so you have to spend more money to buy things, right? So what a lot of investors are doing is they're taking the money out of the stock market because it works in inverse. And if I lose you, just please forgive me. But what the interest rates and the stock prices work in the opposite direction. If you can see now, the stock market is down and the interest rates are up, right? So why do people that are investors, savvy investors, they take their money out of the stock market and they put it into a tangible asset, which is real estate. And we've seen it, right, Angel? We've seen a ton of investors with huge pockets, billions of dollars, buying real estate here in Arizona as rental properties. And these rental properties are being super great investments because they make a huge return on investment. Hedge against inflation, they go up in value, and they're paying them rent. And it's a tangible, you can touch it, see it, feel it. So here's this graph. It shows you 1980, there was a recession. Prices of homes went up 6.1%.
Yep.
In 81, 3.5. And then we had another recession in 91. They dropped 1.9%, which is nothing, right? And then in 2001, we had another recession. Prices of the homes went up. The only time the properties really lost value was when the market it crashed because of real estate. This was caused by the real estate industry, and that's what happened. It was 20%. Yet 2020 we had the pandemic. Prices still went up 20%. 6%.
So say, for example, prices were to go down 10%.
Okay.
But from where? So we went up in some places 40 to 50%.
Who cares?
So if they went down 10%, okay. But people, unfortunately, and I'm not saying everyone, but there are those that like focusing on the negative aspects or see, okay, I have a price reduction. I'm seeing price reduction. So it's definitely going to crash. Well, just a word of caution, as you can tell on this graph, not every time that there is a recession, there is a drastic or big drop in value of homes.
Yep. If you average this out, you're going to win no matter what. Correct. So again, we're not experts when it comes to the numbers. We don't know have a crystal ball. All I know is people need a home to live. And when you're buying a property, guys, you're buying a property to live. You're buying a home. If it's an investment, and if you're buying it for appreciation, it may not be the suitable investment, but I think if you hold it long enough, you're going to come out in the positive. So I would encourage you guys that if you have any questions, to reach out to us.
Yes.
We'd love the opportunity to show you what's happening. And it's also very key to point out that this is a huge window of opportunity for you to get into a home where you don't have to get outbid, when you can still ask for closing costs, maybe a price reduction. Who knows, right?
Yeah.
No guarantees, but I think the market is actually in that position where we can get you in, because again, I feel like with COVID, we just bent the hose.
Now, let's talk about briefly the inventory today in comparison to the inventory, say, for example, April of 2020, because some are saying, oh, the inventory is increasing. Well, that's a good thing for buyers, but we're still at a very low number. This was back in April of 2020. There were 9,072 single-family detached homes available for sale in Maricopa County. 9,000. And I remember at that time, there were many realtors saying, geez, we're very low. We should be like 18, 20,000. The population was less than what it is today.
Yep.
And there were people out there. We got a problem. We got very little homes to go around.
Yep. And we started tracking it. I live real estate. This is my world, and this is what I love and my passion. So I'm always taking in consideration what's happening. And so we look at every single aspect of it. So as soon as I see a change or I see something that's going to shift, like right now, I start tracking it daily because I want to know what's happening. So this graph shows you that 182 properties went under contract in one day, because this is a 24-hour market update, and there was only 74 properties available, less than half available. And this was probably earlier in the day because only 7 of them closed. So just to give you guys perspective, let's say the market crashes, right? Let's say the people are going to just leave their homes and they're going to go where? They're going to rent, right?
Yes.
So is there rentals available?
No.
Okay. So why would you leave your home that you're paying $1,200, $1,400 a month? Because the rates were low, the prices were lower, and most people are in that boat, right?
Especially with when many people have rates in the twos.
Exactly.
So people with homes today would think twice about giving up their house, many of which have a lot of equity and a great interest rate of 2.5, 2.8, 2.4. So, I mean, if you're going to sell, that's a great thing, because maybe people transfer or they want to move up to a bigger house and they got equity. But I don't foresee the market crashing. The market from 2008, it was completely different than what it is today. And we could carry on for quite a while talking about the comparisons. But I wanted to talk about what is the inventory today. We just saw back in April of 2020, right?
Mm-hmm.
What is the inventory today in comparison? So a lot of times we say, oh, we got a lot of inventory now. No, we don't.
Not really.
The population has grown.
And it's just like, it's perspective on everything. For example, people say, oh, the rates are super high. They're 6%, 5%. The average rate, guys, if you didn't know, it's been 8% throughout history. Now, you go back to the 80s, you had 18%, right? In 2005, when the market was hot, a great rate was 6-7%. So right now, we got used to these lower rates. It was basically free money, right? For those that took advantage, great. But now, is it high? It isn't. In reality, it isn't. And the price, go ahead.
In 18, I had a house in San Diego. I had 3.2. rate. But I sold it. I bought a brand new home here in Arizona, in Phoenix.
Mhm.
By the time it got finished, where I'm going to close escrow, the interest rates had gone up. Many of us don't think about it because that's the past. We only think about
Yep.
what we see here. So I got the house at 4.6. I still got the house.
Right.
I didn't know that. Well, of course, I'm always on the lookout. When the rates dropped, I got a 2.8.
Yeah.
Okay. Some people got even better. I remember there was a 2-week window, 1.99.
Wow.
2-week window. So what I'm getting at is, I sold a house in San Diego. I had a need. I was transferring to, moving to Arizona, and I sold the house over there.
Right.
There's going to be movement of people. The market is going to be continuing to operate.
Yep.
It's not going to be at a standstill, because the reality of it is we still have people moving and having needs, and some people need a bigger home, some people who need a smaller home. Whatever the case may be, I bought a house at 4.6 after having 3.2. I had a need.
Yeah. And again, guys, there's always a chance and a time to move. We just refinanced. Actually, they just signed the documents on an investment home that we have. My rate is 5.8%. Am I grateful? Yes, I had a 10% interest rate. I bought it as an investment. So if you're buying a house for the right reasons, the rates should not, shouldn't be an obstacle for you to get into it. Because again, as time goes on, like Angel mentioned, your property value is going to go up, your income's going to go up, and your payment's going to be the same. So, and we'll talk more about this in other segments, because we want to help people achieve wealth, not just own a home, but also create wealth through real estate. And because we want to help you out. There's a lot of bad information out there that people are sharing, right? And it's keeping a lot of people out of their dreams.
What's today's inventory? 8,917 houses, single detached family homes in Maricopa County. If you recall, again, April of 2020, where many realtors were alarmed, it was 9,072.
Yep.
Back then, there were realtors saying, we're low.
Mm-hmm.
We need like 18, 20, 21,000 homes.
Look at the crazy activity, though, Angel. Can you show that other slide? So 230 homes closed, 266 new listings, 327 homes went under contract. So this morning I looked at the inventory, it was over 9,000. So we're selling just in the same pace, guys. I know the news are telling you otherwise. They're going to look for ways to scare you, and that's their job, right? So we're here to remove that fear out of the way and also give you hope and also make the right decisions, because that fear is going to keep you from.
Well, I would suggest to substitute, take away, the F from fear.
Yeah.
And start thinking about to visualize yourself in that home that you've always dreamed of,
Yeah.
Because if you keep putting it off, and I've said this before and I keep repeating it, if you keep putting it off because you're going to wait for some other time, 30 years are going to go by and you're going to look back and you're going to regret it.
Yeah.
So
Agree.
Call us. If you have any questions, concerns, we'd be happy to help, because we love creating, helping families create wealth through home ownership.
And one of the things that we don't want is for you to get to retirement age and not be able to retire because your rent payment is just unbearable, and you have to work the rest of your life to keep making that. And we see it all the time, guys. Andres, can you come here just real quick? He was actually witness to the other day of a phone call. And how was that? Was that sad or not?
No, it was heartbreaking.
You remember just a little snippet of what happened? I know I put you on the spot. But.
No, it's it was an older man, retired and everything, and looking for a place to, retire, essentially live, and everything was so expensive for him that he just got to the point where he couldn't find any place that was giving him a stable amount of rent where he could live.
He's like, I don't want to pay anymore. I want to just live the rest of my life relaxed. And I can sense the desperation. I have family members, really close family members, that have gone through this, and it breaks my heart. But it takes someone out there to say something, and we're passionate about this because we see it all the time, and we don't want you. I told Andres and Baruch, because they're 18 years old, I said, dude, you guys need to work your butts off and get into a home as soon as possible so that you can start building that. And if you have your house paid off when you retire and you get a minimum, whatever the government gives you, and you want to rely on that, which I don't recommend that. That's when we're going to show you how to invest. you need to start working on it now, and don't wait, guys, because again, you don't want to be that desperate guy that is trying to retire and you can't, because every single year your rent's going to go up, and whatever the government gives you is not enough to cover that.
Mhm.
What are you going to eat?
We have 90 something million millennials in full force out there, many of which are business owners
Yep.
with the buying power to
Yep.
purchase a property. Now, when I got to San Diego back in the 90s, mid 90s, I didn't know any better than about the market and the rates. I wanted to buy a property. I
Right.
went and bought a condo, and it so happens that I was pre-qualified. It was at 7.5. I still bought.
That was it, right?
Yeah.
Not only that, did you buy that condo to make money, or did you buy it to
No,
live?
I wanted to not rent. Because I remember this because I had someone at work always tell me, "Hey, dude, why don't you buy a property? You're paying rent." So he preached to me, and that helped me realize, why am I paying someone else's mortgage if I have the ability to purchase?
That's it.
And I bought it for 7.5 interest rate. There were coworkers and saying, "You got a 7.5? My mortgage is at 9%." And so they went and refied. There were people that had 9% interest rate. People still bought a property because it's the long-term effect that you'll get in working in your favor,
Right.
by buying rather than renting.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, you're somebody else's mortgage. And some people say, I don't want any responsibility. I guarantee you, if you don't pay your rent, they're going to kick you out. So,
Oh, that's a good thing that you brought that up, because I had someone tell me, "Look, dude, I don't want to buy because what if I get let go from my job?" And I told that individual, "Well, what happens with where you live right now if you get let go?" He scratched his head. He says, "I might get evicted." Exactamundo.
the same thing.
Don't live your life making your decisions always thinking about what's the bad things. They're gonna. I would focus on the fact that you probably, if you get let go, you're gonna find a better job. Okay.
100%.
And if you have your mortgage, right, you can always figure it out, get a HELOC, or do creative things that can help you get through the hard times in life.
Let's say you lose your job right now, and just say you said I don't want to live here anymore. I want to leave. I
I sell my
bought this
house. There's all sorts of options that you have versus renting.
Well, you bought it 2 years ago, right? And now you want to sell because you want to leave. You don't want to lost my job. This is a good opportunity for me to get out of here. What'll happen if you were renting a home? Would you get any money?
I would not.
So let's just play this scenario. 2 years ago, you bought the house. You're selling now. Would you take some money with you?
Definitely.
Maybe 100.
I say that to the
120,000.
military guys. They get transferred and stationed at, for example, Luke Air Force Base. I'm only going to be here for 2 or 3 years. Why would I buy? And my response, why wouldn't you buy?
Exactly.
Okay. So you can buy, and that's going to help you with your taxes.
Yep.
Okay. It's going to help you in the long haul.
You're in the military. You can rent that property and just go and have somebody else pay that mortgage. And then when you retire, you have another rent coming
You
in.
can leave that one here. Hold and rent is the concept. Hold
Exactly.
and
Buy and
rent.
hold. Yeah.
Because if you're 25, 30 years old and you have the means to be able to buy the first house, and that house can take you to the second house and third, these things do happen. I
Yep.
know some individuals with 10 houses,
Yep.
15 houses throughout the years, and they retire from the military or whatever job they have, and now they just they have at their disposal their pension, but they also have the income from their properties.
Amen. More on that, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. We're going to leave it at that right now, but thank you so much for taking your time to watch this. If you like it, click like it, and then share it. We're going to do more. There's a lot of cool things coming in the next few weeks, months. So thanks again. Appreciate
Have a good
you.
one.
Take care.